Well, kia ora and welcome into the Harness Half Hour, now proudly brought to you by Airpark Canterbury and HRNZ Marketing. This week on the show, we chat to Robbie Close following his recent milestone when training his first winner and also driving 3 winners in one day. We profile North Island trainer Adrienne Matthews, and Peter Lagan of NZB Standardbred discusses the upcoming all-age sales in Christchurch in Auckland. And as usual, Richard Wilson is with us from the bookies desk. But first, here are the headlines. The Group 3 Rangiora Classic was taken out in game fashion by AG's White Sox for driver Ricky May and trainers Greg and Nina Hope. The son of rock and roll heaven downed the fixer and chased Auckland in a big run from well back in the field to pick up his 9th career win. The horse will now spell ahead of a New Zealand Cup and Inter-Dominion campaign as a 6-year-old. At Winton on Saturday, the Gold Chip final was taken out by One Apollo, heading home Get Lucky and Full Noise, while the Winton Businesses Cup was won by Sagwitch over Vintage Cheddar and Tact Maggie. Sweet On Me appeared in the Harness Jewels Leaders colours for the first time on Friday and was successful in the Magnus Benro Sire Stakes Fillies heat at Addington. Second was Amazing Dream and third A Taste of Honey. Meanwhile, the Fillies heat at Auckland was won by Longview Lady, who defeated Little Miss Perfect and Delightful Catherine. Well, it might have been a wet, miserable day at Rangiora on Sunday, but it was a massive day in the history for Robbie Close in his training career, picking up win number 1. Robbie, congratulations, and did you expect the horse to win so easily, I guess?
I didn't expect it to win so easily, but I was pretty confident the way she'd been trialling and workouts and the way she'd come back this time in, she just proved that wee bit more. So, I was confident without being too confident.
And did you realise just how big the distance was between you and the next horse once you'd got to that line, or was that something that you realised after watching the race?
I didn't realise it was that big until about halfway down. I looked back and there were a few lengths behind me, so yeah, I was lucky enough to be far enough clear. I chucked a wee salute out to say thank you and hopefully more to come.
Yeah, oh, good on you too. And it was extra special too, given that your partner Brooke is involved. It was her birthday, and also your parents are involved with the horse, I understand.
Yeah, my parents own half of her, and Brooke's got a wee 10%, and it was her birthday, and my parents were down as well for the day, so it made it all extra special.
Definitely. And can you tell the listeners, Robbie, how did you come to have Majestic Mannequin?
I brought it to sales a couple of years ago after I sold a horse called the Male Model. So, I brought it to sales and played around with it for a while, and it's taken a wee bit longer, but, it all pays off in the long run.
Oh, most certainly. And was there anything in particular that drew you to the horse at the sales, or was it just a chance purchase?
No, it was more just a chance purchase. It was by Majestic's son, and they were all going good at the time, and she wasn't very dear, so it made it a bit easier, yeah.
Well, it's all paying off now. And of course, not only did you get that first training win, but 3 driving wins on the day as well. Yeah,
it worked out super for the day, and a couple later on, and one for Regan in the last, which one I'd never driven before, but drove him at work a couple of days earlier, and he felt pretty good, so, it all pays off.
Yeah. And you mentioned, of course, you're working with Regan there. And how long have you been involved with his team, Robbie?
I've been working for Regan for close to nearly 4 years, coming up in Christmas time. So, it's been a good wee set-up between me and him and all the other workers that work there.
Yeah. And would you say he's been one of the main mentors, or have you had other people that you turn to for advice and help throughout the years?
Yeah, no, he's definitely one of the main ones. For giving me a go, and he helped me win the Juniors Premiership a few years ago. But also Michelle Wallace and Bernie Hackett, they've been a long-time supporter of mine, my auntie and uncle, and they always help me out along the way.
Yeah. Oh, fantastic. And how many horses are you training in your own name at the moment, Robbie?
No, I've just got the one at work at the moment, but, as long as she keeps going all right, she'll be there for a little bit longer.
Yeah. Oh, well, that's great. I'm sure your family and Brooke won't be allowing you to sell her anytime soon. And in terms of going forward, do you think that training's something that you might go into in your own name eventually? Is that a goal for you?
Yeah, it'll definitely happen eventually, but at the moment, the way things are working between me and Regan and everything at the beach, and I've been going pretty good on the driving side of things, so as long as it keeps stick along a ride, I'll stay there at the moment anyway.
Yeah. And are you open, maybe, Robbie, if someone approaches you, they might have a horse that they think, might need a bit of time at the beach, are you open to people approaching you?
Yes, definitely. Always open for other horses, Regan, I'm allowed one there at the moment anyway, but he always says if you get any others, definitely take them anyway.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. Well, I'm sure the phone will start ringing white hot for you, Robbie. Well done, not only on that first training win, which is a massive milestone, and doing it so stylishly too, but 3 wins in a day is a huge achievement. Keep up the great work.
No worries, thank you very much.
And in social media news, starting off with New Zealand, and our website is changing. You may have seen the news on our website this past week. We will launch a new and improved Harness Racing New Zealand website on Wednesday, May the 1st. It will be responsive to all devices and cleaner to read, with all of the same great tools and information you already receive, plus more. You can check out hrnz.co.nz for more information on those updates. And from Australia, Monty Python will return to New Zealand after a successful campaign with Brent Lilly in Victoria. He will rejoin Phil Williamson and aim for the Anzac and Rowe Cups, according to Adam Hamilton's Aussie News. And also in that news, Kiwi trainer Steve Talva was successful with Step Up in the Australia Cup final at Mildura over the weekend. Well done, Steve and team. And from the USA and Canada, the richest standardbred of all time, Foiled Again, continues his retirement tour in the United States, this week appearing at the Midwest Horse Fair. You can follow his tour by liking the US Trotting Association's Facebook page. Well, on the Harness Half Hour this week, joining us is Adrienne Matthews, and of course we like to profile trainers from all over the country. Adrienne, congratulations, 10 training wins so far this season. I believe your best previously was 11, so you're on target potentially to having your best season yet.
Yeah, hopefully. We had a good start to the season. We've slowed up a little bit now, but we've got a bigger race team just starting back up now, so hopefully get over the 11 this time.
Fantastic. And how many horses do you have in work at the moment, Adrienne?
We're doing about 14 at the moment.
Fantastic. And can you just name a few of those horses that people might have heard of in your team?
So we've got the Hulk. He's just having his first race back tonight. He's quite a nice trotter. We've got Edam Plus. He's been trialling. Fortunato, he's going to race next week. Then we've got a few maidens coming through. We've got 3 maidens racing tonight. Better Brock let her hair down, and Heavenly. A couple of them have just had a couple of starts. So, yeah, that's pretty much a race team at the moment.
Fantastic, and just enough to keep you busy. And as you mentioned, you started the season off with a hiss and a roar. And at the start of each season, Adrienne, do you set a target, or do you just kind of see how it rolls?
Yeah, we kind of just see how it rolls. Like, it's nice to have goals, but with racehorses you can never tell what's going to happen. Injuries and sicknesses and things like that, it's hard to sort of predict.
Yeah, oh, most certainly. And then is there a highlight that you've had so far in your training career that stands out?
I had a couple of nice mares early on. So Milvia Sarah, she won a few of the grass cups, and she won 11 races. Mm-hmm. And she's the real deal, did a really good job. She won 10, and she was in the Jewels as a 3-year-old. Wow. Yeah, so we've had a couple of nice ones. Then a Fortunato's coming up. He looks like quite a nice horse, but just got to get his manners sorted out.
Yeah, it's easier said than done sometimes. And in terms of your harness racing career, Adrienne, where did it all start for you?
My granddad used to train. He was just a hobby trainer up in Kumeu, so his name was Cliff Thorburn, and I just tagged around the Kumeu track with him when I was younger, and talked to everybody down there and helped everybody down there, and always helped my granddad and went to the races and that, and it just sort of went from there. I left the game for a little while, and then I just decided that I wanted to get back into it, so I started working for Ken Seafont and then went to Lincoln Farms when Ray Norton was training there. Mm-hmm. And then I moved down to Puke to work for Jeff Small.
Oh, fantastic. And would you say that there's been one person that's been a real mentor to you that's helped you through, or has it been a mixture of all of those people?
Yeah, certainly get bits and pieces from all of them. I learned a lot when I worked for Jeff, as I was able to travel with some of the horses overseas and down to Christchurch and that, so that was a really good learning curve, just being one-on-one or one-on-two with some of Jeff's horses.
Yeah. So which of those champions were you associated with or have the fondest memories of with Jeff's team?
So I was there when our Sue was racing, but I didn't look after him. But I travelled with Copper Beach, Pullover Brown and One For You.
Far out. Yeah, well, there are some big names, and of course, seeing those bloodlines still carrying through, it must be really nice to see them producing and carrying on.
Yeah, Copper Beach has done an all right job. Pullover Brown was quite disappointing as a broodmare, unfortunately, because she was a very good race mare, but that happens sometimes.
Yeah, there's no rhyme or reason sometimes as to where these good horses come from. And in terms of career goals, Adrienne, as we mentioned, you potentially could get your best season yet this year, but in the long term, do you have anything that you'd really like to achieve as a trainer?
Definitely that Group 1 win would be great. We've had a couple of runners in Group 1 but haven't managed to win one yet, but we've got quite a few young horses up and coming, just broken 8 yearlings, and we've got the 2-year-olds back in now. So, just to win a Group 1 race would be brilliant.
Fantastic. And just finally, if anyone's listening to this and maybe they've thought about getting into ownership, or maybe they've followed your career and wanted to get involved with your team, are you open to people contacting you, Adrienne, about potential opportunities in future?
Yeah, absolutely. We've got a few owners that they come in on horses that we've already got at the stables or that we purchase at the sales, and even if they just want to have a 10% share or 5% or just something, it doesn't matter how big the share is, they still feel like it's their horse, and we still treat them like it's their horse, and it's just really about getting people involved and experiencing the thrills of racing the horses and that. But yeah, absolutely, if there's anybody interested in just a small share or whatever, there's plenty of horses here that we're open to giving shares in.
Oh, that is fantastic, and you're not wrong. Any share at all, you just feel like you own the whole thing, and it doesn't make the thrill any less exciting. Adrienne, I know you're very busy getting the team ready for race night, so thank you so much for your time, and all the best and congratulations on a great season so far.
Okay, thanks a lot, Jess.
Airpark Canterbury is not owned by the Christchurch Airport. They're locally owned, and they have the cheapest 24/7 airport parking in Christchurch. Book your car into Airpark Canterbury, and their luxury Mercedes shuttles will drop you right at the terminal. Visit airparkcanterbury.co.nz or book now on 0800 Airpark.
There's always a park for me at Airpark Canterbury.
Well, joining me on the podcast this week in person is Peter Lagan from New Zealand Bloodstock. And Peter, first and foremost, what was the wash-up from the first running of the New Zealand Bloodstock Standardbred sale?
Good morning, Jess. We're very, very pleased with it, obviously. It exceeded our expectations. We turned over $12 million, I think it was. Averaged 41,000 over the 3 sales. So overall, we were very, very happy.
Wow, and I guess the feedback that I've heard, at least personally, was very positive. People seemed very buoyant after those sales. Yeah,
they did, Jess. I think that, it's the same story, isn't it? Nice horses do sell well, but I think with the expertise in the promotion of the sale from NZB and that, and what we did in Australia, I think it all came to head, and in actual fact, like the industry at the time was very, very buoyant, and it sold well.
Yeah, and just on a side note too, it was really interesting to see the types of buyers we saw, even the likes of Jimmy Tactor and Chris Ryder there in person. So, the word is certainly getting worldwide now. Oh, it is, and of course Chris has bought a couple. He won a race the other night, one he bought at the sales a couple of years ago, and I think Jimmy was down here for a holiday and that, so he saw how it was run. So, hey, you never know where that leads to. Exactly right. And in terms of the upcoming sales, of course, we've got the mixed stock all-age sales coming up, firstly in Christchurch and Karaka, but a bit different for Christchurch this year. It
is, Jess. Yeah, on Monday the 29th of April, we're having a dual code sale. So, of course, we have the New Zealand Bloodstock selling the Thoroughbreds in the morning and the Standardbreds in the afternoon. So that'll be quite interesting. Get a cross-section of both codes there, so I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, we've quite often seen thoroughbred buyers delve into harness racing ownership, so a few keen trainers or syndicators, they might be able to swoop a few people in.
Oh, it'll be interesting, Jess, but hey, wait to see how it goes, but I think it'll create a bit of interest, won't it? I think. But I think we've got something like 40-odd weenies and yearlings. They're in that sale in the Standardbred part. They're eligible for the upcoming Harness Mini Race Series. So, hey, people can get an opportunity to get into that series by buying those weenies and the yearlings at that sale.
Yeah, and of course, for people that are looking to get into the breeding industry, we've never had more selection for stallions. It's a really nice opportunity to buy into some mares that have some blue blood in there.
Oh, there is, Jess. There's a few in Auckland and in Christchurch. So, hey, they will sell accordingly, but there are some nice ones there to try and have a go. And we've had a bit of interest already throughout New Zealand on a few mares and that already. So I think, hey, it's not going to be hard to figure out which ones the ones that people want.
Exactly, and hey, good horses come from anywhere, so if you get a mare in foal, you just never know.
You never know, dear right, Jess, dear right.
And the weanling consignment, well, there's a massive 130 nationwide. Of course, most of them coming from Alabar and Woodlands, and Alabar recently held their inspection day. They've got a massive lot on offer. Yeah,
I went to that inspection day last Sunday, and it was very well supported. The horses look terrific. I think, hey, you got them there by the new sire, Always Be Mickey, the fastest horse in the world. You've got the Majors, the Betters, the Lights, the Sweet Loos, of course, the Captain Churches. Great crop on offer.
Most certainly, and of course, the New Zealand Bloodstock Standardbred website, always the place to go. You've got photos, pedigrees, all the information there.
Yes, we have. Most of Alabar's photos are up now. Woodlands weenies are going up this week, so get on there and have a look at them, and they do look good. Yep.
Okay, and of course, the finance option, did you find that was quite popular with a lot of young trainers and syndicators, in the previous sales? It's always an option?
It was, Jess. I think people took that up, and there was the option, obviously, to pinhook to the Reader Runner sale. Now it's the opportunity to pinhook here to the yearling sales next year. Yeah. And I think it was well taken up, and I think that the more people know about it, the more it'll grow.
Yeah, and naturally it will keep growing. So if anyone's got any questions, Peter, maybe they're wanting to find out more about how they can utilise the services from New Zealand Bloodstock or find out more about the sales, you're happy to have a chat?
Correct, you're right. Definitely, contact NZB, us here on that, and we'll take care of you.
Hi, Razor here from Canterbury Rugby. When you need airport parking, choose a team that's on the ball. Meet at Airpark Canterbury and get their free Mercedes shuttle to drop you right off at the terminal. Airpark Canterbury have the cheapest 24/7 airport parking, and you'll never get left on the sidelines. Give Airpark Canterbury a try, airparkcanterbury.co.nz.
There's always a park for me at Airpark Canterbury.
Well, of course, at this stage of the podcast, every week we chat to Richard Wilson from the Harness Bookmaker's Desk in Petone. Richard, it looked like another busy week for you and the team. Starting off with Tuesday at Manawatu, how did things go for you there?
Yeah, well, it was a bit of a tough start for us there at Manawatu on Tuesday. Quite a few well-back runners got home there. There weren't a lot of big bets, but the best bet was a $6,250 one on My Mate Ben to win at $2.10. A couple of $1,000 bets at $1.95 also got home there. He was well back last week, and there was another $5,000 on the Capity Express to run in the top three. That was at $1.48, and $1,000 Such Fun at $3.80. Also a handy profit there. A couple that missed out: $2,000 Ivana Flyby at $3.40, $1,000 on Brooks Image at $5, and $1,000 on Gladimir at $2.60.
Okay, and from the Tuesday meeting to Thursday, a bit of a wet night there. How did you go on the Thursday night at Manawatu?
Yeah, well, I've sort of been enjoying these wet nights, Jess, in the last couple of weeks. A bit of slush seems to even things up a bit, and a little bit the same, but not quite there on Thursday. Still quite a lot of favourites got home, and the punters seem to really have their homework done from the first day, possibly even better than we did. So there was $1,000 Uncle Drew at $4.20, and he finally got home. There was a whole heap of bets on him. There was $2,000 and a couple of $1,000 bets on Unfinished Business at $1.60. $1,000 on the Capity Express at $2.60. A much sort of anticipated win there for him. And JB had some good support. $2,000 bet on him at $1.45 to run the top three. Turned out to be the best there. A few that missed out: $1,000 My Mate Ben at $5, and there were $2,000 bets on Honour the Bet at $3.20.
And of course, Friday we saw afternoon racing at Addington to fit in the rugby, and were the punters still getting involved in that, Richard?
Yes, indeed. There was quite a good plunge there. No, sort of an old-fashioned real go there. Race 2, Dan Fernando. Opened at $10, closed at $4.20. So right away, it's not going to be good for us. You know that. So there was $1,000 on at the 10, 500 at 9, 500 at 8.50. What else we got? 1,400 at 7.50, and then another 1,000 at 5. So terrible result there for us, Dan Fernando. Sweet About Me, very popular there, especially in multis, but there was also a $5,000 bet at $1.18, and even a $10,000 top 3 bet at $1.03. So she was no good for us. $3,000 on Art Standing at $1.60, $1,000 What a Sister at $5.50, and $3,000 on Stars Tonight to run the top 3 at $2.10. Also made for healthy profits there. A few big bets that went amiss there. $5,800 on Wainui Creek at $2.70. $1,000 Double O Heaven at 14, and then another 1,000 at 8.50. So he was very well backed. 2,000 on Take After Me at 6.50, and there was $2,000 to win on Stars Tonight at 7.50.
And of course we had Alexandra Park taking centre stage to the Soul Night meeting on Friday. And how did the punters go there, Richard?
Yeah, pretty good. There was 4 horses that they really attacked there at Auckland. Benson Boys got punters home, $10,000 on at $1.75, and $7,000 bet at $1.65. So he did the most damage. The other one that got punters home on the cards, they delivered mainly for multi-punters, a couple of $2,000 bets and $2,000 single bets at $1.80. And the other 2 that were well supported, Pearl Harbour, $10,000 at 2 and $7,000 on at $1.75. That one missed out. And Massive Metro, $5,000 on at $1.80. Just being topped off there by Le Monde was very good for us.
Okay, into the deep south, of course, your old hunting ground, Saturday in Winton, and not many big bets there by the look.
No, I think people were sort of concentrating further afield. The Winx final race over there in Oz. I don't think there was much attention being paid to Winton. Possibly lucky for us, but there were a couple that they got stuck into. Tulsa Jacker, very heavily backed race 2, $1,100 on at $5.50, $3,000 top 3 bet at $2.15. So that was no good. And then Paddy Proudfoot, very well backed in race 3, a couple of $700 bets at $3.90 and $3.80. They were just the tip of the iceberg there, and that was a trifecta for the Inform Kirsten Barclay Tangala stable, so they're really going well. A couple of bets that missed, $3,000 on Jackson Jazz to run the top 3 at $2.35, and another $3,000 Rockabilly Blues top 3 at $1.95, and there was also $2,000 Jacker George at $3.30 and $2,000 Major Menace at $7.50.
Okay, and of course we went back to Rangiora on Sunday. It was Rangiora Classic Day, and it was a tough end to the week.
It was a tough end for punters. You can tell that by the fact that the final quaddie, there was a $9,000 jackpot coming out of that final quaddie there. So some very rough results in the last 4 races. The best bet of the day, 500 each way, Did You Bring the Bears? He was at 13 and 2.15 at the time, so very good there. Counteracting that, there was a $5,000 bet Marcoola at $1.70 and a whole stack of multis through Marcoola, so it was pretty much even outcome there. Some other good returns came from $3,000 on Bubbled Up at $1.75. That would have been a nervous watch, but she got home along the inside. $500 on Glengarry Knight at $6, $2,000 on Heisenberg at $2.40, and there was a $1,400 bet on Mikey Maguire to run the top 3 at $3.10. The misses there, $5,700 on Grand Chico at $2.70. There was $8,900 bet on the Fixer at $2.10, so that one just missed. $6,000 on Smoke and Buy at $2.60, another $6,000 at $1.85, and a $4,000 bet at $1.75. And then come to the last race, $3,000 on Gore Bay at $7.50.
Okay, so yeah, tricky end of the week, as you mentioned there, at Rangiora for punters. And in terms of multi of the week, what have you sorted out for us to highlight this time round?
$100 multi on Thursday at Manawatu, Unfinished Business $165, Mr. Harris to run the top 3 $260, Uncle Drew at $450, and then ending on Peaky Sun at $240. So that $100 turned into $4,633.
Yeah, nice work. $100 into $4,500, and of course we've been highlighting the cash out option, which is a new option included on the TAB website. And the worst and best for us this time round, what have you found?
Well, I just mentioned before how tough the final races at Rangiora were with the big quaddie jackpot. But this multi-punter had it down pretty pat. $5 box multi, AG's White Sox at 6, Missy Castleton at 21, and Oneiden Rain at 8. So that $5 box multi, had it run right through to the end, would have returned $570. But the nerves must have kicked in, was cashed out before the last leg for still a nice profit, $236.76. But we've sort of dodged a little bit of a bullet there.
Yeah, definitely. But nice work for $5 and the best cash out of the week.
$300 5-leg box multi at Addington, Medina at $350. Dreamy Damien, that's to run the top 3. Dreamy Damien to run the top 3 at $340. Theodosia to run the top 3, $290. And then Dr. Tim, top 3 at $220, and Crusher Collins, top 3 at $230. So the potential return there for that $300 was $6,800. But of course, the wise decision taken there to cash out for $2,571 before the last 2 legs ran, and they both missed a place. So very good there.
Yeah, fantastic work by that punter. Yeah, swings and roundabouts. And of course, the week ahead, it's starting to quieten down a little bit, but busy enough for you?
Yes, indeed. Yeah, a strange week with Easter. The days get a bit out of whack, don't they? I can't remember. Thursdays become Fridays and things like that. So Cambridge and Forbury Park on Thursday, and then the Hawera Cup and Addington with the 2-year-old trotting stakes are on Saturday, and then of course Hawera backs up on Monday along with Mochikarara.
Yes, very busy for Easter, and of course you've been very busy as well, Richard. You mentioned last week a number of markets are out, including the harness jewels, so you've been busy setting those.
Yeah, we've got all the jewels open, the Cup, the Dominion, Inter-Dominions, the New Zealand Oaks, that might be coming, the nominations might be coming out shortly for that, so there won't be much more time to get a futures bet on there. Not many moves this week. AG's White Sox moved in a little bit, and You May Collect, now the second best backed horse to win the New Zealand Cup, so he has moved in slightly, 21 into 18.
Fantastic. All right, we'll jump on board that excitement machine You May Collect. Richard, thank you so much for your time, and have a very good Easter. Hopefully it's a good one for you and the team.
Yep, no, not a problem, and Merry Christmas, Happy Easter to everybody. Hope you get a little bit of chocolate, not too much.
And what's coming up harness racing wise this week? Of course, don't forget it's Easter, so slightly different to usual with Thursday night 2 meetings. Waikato Bay are plenty at Cambridge, and also Forbury Park in Dunedin on Thursday night. On Saturday we have Hawera, day 1 of their Easter meeting, and of course Addington racing during the day. Feature race at Addington, the Canterbury Breeders' Stakes. No racing on Sunday, so Easter Monday we see day 2 for Hawera, including the Hawera Cup, and Banks Peninsula harness racing at Motukarara on the grass. And that is it for this week's Harness Half Hour. Thanks to Air Park Canterbury and HRNZ Marketing. Don't forget the Harness Half Hour podcast is available on the HRNZ website, on our Facebook page, on Punters Lounge on tab.co.nz, also via Spotify and iTunes. Have a great Easter.